Saturday.
Right.
So,
And the purpose of it is what?
advertising, showing
Right.
people what we do, because I do all my videos are real time,
Right.
so I don't fast forward them. The only time I've started editing out is if there's children in here, like who come to the door, and then I blank them out if their parents don't want them recorded.
Okay. Interesting.
It was just after 8 o'clock in the morning.
So do you use a blue shampoo at home?
Yeah. Well, a grey reducing shampoo, yeah. But under certain lights, it does look a little bit
Purple.
purpley, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. If you go down to using that shampoo once a week, it will do what it's meant to be doing. Looks like that you shampoo your hair like 3 times a week.
No, I shampoo it probably less than once a week.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I did it this morning, but last time I did it was probably a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. It is very. What blue shampoo are you using?
It's the Just for Men CX Control, GX Control, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice colour. Don't get me wrong. It is a very nice colour. Did you want to go this?
That's as much as I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a very nice colour.
I mean, it's very silver grey without it, but I like a little bit of colour in there.
Yeah, it's a nice colour.
But that's as much as I want to go. That's why I.
Okay,
really
so when
only
you
use it.
shampoo your hair, do you only use that blue shampoo?
No, I use other shampoos in between.
Okay, so go to using the blue shampoo maybe once a month
Right.
instead of once a week,
Okay.
and do that, and it will just, because you know, like when you're feeling it, it feels quite producty.
Yeah.
That's because
Well,
of the shampoo.
There is a little bit of product at the front.
Yeah.
Just
but
because otherwise it just flops over into a
Yeah.
fringe, which I don't like.
I can feel that there, but
Yeah.
when you feel that there with that product, I can feel product here.
Oh right. Okay.
And that's just from the shampoo.
Right.
It is a nice colour. I actually like it. Normally I don't like anything with Just for Men. But yeah, this is really nice.
Well, so I still don't want to overdo it.
No.
Because after a couple of weeks it does fade,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want it to look kind of as if I've.
If you use it once a month,
Yeah.
rather than once a week,
Yeah.
you will still get the nice coverage, but you'll lose the purple tinge.
Right. But will it not fade over?
It shouldn't
that time?
do. Because you've used it quite a lot, it should just tone it down slightly.
Oh, okay. So I can still use normal shampoo, obviously, in between times.
Yeah,
Just
but
use
only
that
shampoo your hair like maybe twice a week.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you shampoo your hair every every day,
Yeah.
and then you use this purple shampoo once a month, yes, it's gonna take it down. If you shampoo your hair once or twice a week,
Yeah.
and use purple shampoo once a month, it should be okay.
Right. Okay.
So what am I doing for you? Because you just off camera, you told me that you've been clippering it yourself.
Yeah, I've done a couple of just because I when I came up here a few months ago, I had clippers and I just hadn't got into the routine of going to a hairdresser because I work shifts at the moment.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll be on 5:15 in the morning, sometimes I'll be on 9 o'clock at night. So I haven't got a regular kind of routine.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been clippering it just to keep it tidy, but it needs more than that. Before I started doing that, I had a number 6 on the sides and the back, and
Yep.
then sort of chopped in with scissors on top to about sort of finger width, if that makes sense.
Are you still looking to have a number 6 on the back and sides?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to what I had before.
Yeah, no problem.
Because that seemed to work. Like I say, it's just the clippers were just kind of keeping it
control.
tidy,
Yeah.
but obviously you can't get the same effect with clippers, at least I can't.
It's a means to an end, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean I bought them during lockdown. I think on the last day before we were locked down for COVID,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well hang on, how are we going to be able to get our haircut and stuff? So I bought a set of clippers and used them for Yeah, about well, until we came out of lockdown again.
Yeah.
Then I went back to a proper hairdresser that I've been going to for several years, and then I moved up here.
So where have you moved from?
I used to live in Norwich, or just outside Norwich.
Okay.
So not all that far, it's only about
No, you're
70,
still in East
80
Anglia.
miles. Yeah. Yeah, not all that far.
I think Peterborough is the... Oh, well, they found this up then. I think Peterborough is the furthest west of
Yeah,
East Anglia.
I think it is, yeah.
I mean, sometimes we get mail saying East Anglia, sometimes we get Midlands.
It's that kind of border between East Midlands and East Anglia, I guess, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, where does the border actually... Is there a border? I mean, it's a fairly arbitrary...
Well, here, because we're actually on the border of Lincoln as well, or Lincolnshire,
Yeah.
and you go 2 miles that way, you're in Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
So sometimes we get mail here in Warrington that is Lincolnshire, Northamptonshire, Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, I've noticed that since I've been up here.
No one actually knows. We just put anything down that gets to us. But when we first moved to Peterborough, it used to be our postcode, or our address used to be Peterborough, Cams, and then our postcode. No one's calling Cambridgeshire anymore.
Right. Well, I suppose with a postcode you don't really need it, do you? I think that's kind of almost the idea of a postcode. You don't need the full address apart from the number.
Someone asked for my address. I think it was when I was going to the hospital. And I actually said Peterborough, Cambridgeshire, and they went, no, Peterborough is Peterborough.
Right, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Now, when we was in lockdown, it was like Cambridgeshire wasn't in lockdown, however, Peterborough was. And we were mentioned by Boris Johnson twice
Right,
that
yeah.
we had to lock down, and then Cambridgeshire locked down after us.
Right.
So one of my members of staff actually lives in Whittlesea, and so they could still go out and about,
Yeah.
where we were in complete lockdown.
Right. Yeah, it annoyed a lot of people.
Yes, please. Yeah, no problem, Jackie. You're not going to get a sweet off of Jackie when you do that. You want a sweet now? Well, come here. Sorry about that. She just loves Jackie so much that she wants her to come in.
I've got to say, I like Peterborough. I hadn't really kind of been here prior to moving up. But it's nice. There's a lot more industry here than I ever thought there was. Obviously, a whole kind of eastern industry. Then you got Port and Southgate. You got the massive warehousing and stuff on the A1. There's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. You've got Ideal World here as well.
Yeah, shopping channel, yeah.
We've got IKEA distribution here.
Yeah.
But we haven't got an IKEA.
No, an IKEA store, which is a shame.
It is a shame because we have to either go to Milton Keynes or Birmingham? Is it Birmingham? Or Nottingham.
Right.
It's either Milton Keynes or Nottingham we have to go to IKEA.
Yeah, it's a bit ironic, really.
Yeah.
But then Peterborough is so accessible, isn't it? You've got the A1, you've got the A47. So you want to go north, south, east, west, it's very easy.
Yeah. But Peterborough also misses a lot of the dramatic weather. Or
Right.
excessive weather. So like when they go, oh, we're going to have major floods and major snowfall. We either miss the snow altogether or we get 2 mils of snow, and then everyone goes, oh yeah, we can't go out. But yeah, we don't get. We get some monsoon rain that comes down like a monsoon. That's about it.
Yeah, you noticed that the other morning. It actually bucketed down.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about that I found about Peterborough was if you go north and west, you get very uninteresting farmland. But if you go out towards Stamford and Wansford, I mean, it's like being in the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
The villages are absolutely beautiful. I mean, my brother lives in one of the Cotswold villages, from northwest of Oxford, which is where I grew up, Oxford.
Yeah.
And it's so similar. You could be in the Cotswolds. It's ridiculous.
I mean, Peterborough is semi-rural because of the amount of villages we've got around it. I mean, it's grown dramatically over the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Well, you can tell by the amount of new housing and the housing that they're building. It's the same with Norwich. They've kind of infilled all the areas between the city and the surrounding villages. And I lived in one of the surrounding villages, and it's virtually a suburb now.
Yeah. Yaxley was a village on its own.
Right.
And now it's incorporated with Hampton.
Right.
Now, I think it was 1992 or early 90s anyway. Where Hampton is, that was London Brick. And we had huge brick chimneys.
Okay, yeah.
And they were all demolished, live on the radio and live around the city. And you could watch them being taken down to build Hampton.
Right.
So 30 years ago, Hampton never existed.
Yeah. Yeah, it all looks very, very new over there.
And Whittlesea used to be a village on its own as well. So did Warrington.
Yeah.
Well,
Warrington is very, very similar. And I said this to Anna, my partner. I mean, she's been over to my place on numerous occasions, and the similarities between where I lived and Warrington. It's the same distance out of the city centre.
Yeah.
It's got a mix of oldie worldy and modern.
Mm-hmm.
They even look similar. The sort of centre of Warrington, the sign and the green and the pubs and things, it just looks so similar to where I lived. Extraordinary.
I mean, we first moved here in 1984, and we were always told it was a town, not a city. But apparently, because we've had a cathedral, that we're automatically a city.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until about a few weeks ago. But yeah, we were told when we first moved here it was a town. We didn't have city status.
Right.
It wasn't until we separated from Cambridgeshire County Council that we got city status. But in Warrington, the Cock Inn, which is down that road there,
on the corner,
that pub is actually in the Doomsday Book. It's actually mentioned in the Doomsday Book, yeah. I think Peterborough Cathedral is named in there as well. And it's one of the only cathedrals that Henry VIII visited that he didn't destroy.
Right.
And Catherine of Aragon is buried here.
Yes, I believe, yeah. I've been around the cathedral several times. I do like cathedrals. I mean, in Norwich we've got two. We've got the Anglican and the Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
Which I keep teasing my partner about. But I've never been into the Roman Catholic cathedral in Norwich, but I do love the Anglican one.
Catherine of Aragon was buried here because I believe it was a Catholic cathedral. Mm-hmm. And then when the Reformation happened, it turned to Protestant.
Right. I went to an amazing light show at the cathedral back in, oh God, when was it? Was it February? January? They had they were using the facade of the cathedral as a sort of projector screen.
Oh, right.
But then when you went inside, every surface of every wall, ceiling, pillar was covered with light, and it was absolutely spectacular. So we were kind of sitting outside, you know, looking at the stuff on the outside of the cathedral, which is perfectly good. It's quite, you know, it's quite fun. But then when you went inside, it's just a whole new level. It's beautiful.
I know that I've been to a couple of weddings that took place in the cathedral.
Right.
One of them, it was semi-closed to public, and the other one wasn't.
Right. Okay.
So had people walking through the wedding and actually took pictures of the bride and groom while they were saying their vows and like getting really close to the bride, so much so that she turned around and said, "Please, can you get out of my personal space?" Yeah.
God. Yeah, that's a bit thoughtless, isn't it?
Yeah. One of my friends, her son was christened at the cathedral.
Right.
And he's doing very, very poorly. Yeah, he was christened at the cathedral.
We're going to an outdoor Shakespeare on the green outside the cathedral in July. That should be fun.
Oh, wow. That's it. I haven't been to the cathedral in about 15 years.
Right. Well, I doubt it's changed very much.
I doubt it is. I know on one of the soldiers on the outside, you can still see bullet wounds, like bullet holes.
Right.
So apparently that is from the Civil War.
Oh, right.
It was hit by a musket ball or something.
Right. I think when you've been around for, 1,000+ years, you get a lot of history.
Yes.
I think that's partly why I like cathedrals. I'm not a massive fan of what goes on inside religious buildings, but the buildings themselves
Oh yeah,
are
it's
just beautiful.
I remember going around St Paul's Cathedral just after St Charles got married.
Right?
And they got is it Gallery of Whispers?
Yeah, Whispering Gallery, yeah.
Yeah, and that was amazing. You could, if you look towards the centre, you couldn't hear anything.
Right.
But if you spoke into the wall, people on the other side could hear you.
I mean, I lived in London for 4 years. I've never been to St Paul's Cathedral as far as I can remember. Unless my parents took me when I was really, really little.
I went there with a school trip.
Right.
My mum said I've been to everything, like Madame Tussauds.
Yeah, been there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember ever going. My husband and I tried to do something historical. I think that's the right word or terminology to use for our wedding anniversary.
Right.
So we went to Tower of London 1 year, Windsor Castle another year, and then last year my cousin took us to Maidstone, where Charles Dickens wrote his books.
Right.
And we stayed in Fagin's cottage, so it was all about
Oh, right, okay, yeah, Oliver Twist, yeah.
that was amazing. Really loved that. That was for our wedding anniversary last year.
Right.
Don't know what we're doing this year. I don't think we're doing anything for our wedding anniversary this year. We were going to renew our vows.
Right. How many years have you been married?
30 years this year.
Right. Okay.
But we put that on hold. My mum was seriously ill.
Right.
So we put that on hold, even though she's better now. My nephew's getting married in August in a castle. So
Okay.
We might take that as our wedding anniversary as well.
There's so much more variety of location these days than when we got married.
Yes.
I mean, it was either church or registry office. And that was your choice.
And then a friend of mine, he got married at the football stadium.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, got married at the football stadium. He goes, yeah. Okay.
If you're both into it, why not?
Exactly. I didn't think you could get married at the football stadium, that's why I said it.
Any revenue stream these days is fair game, I think.
Yeah. The one that I liked the best was Windsor, actually staying in a pub that was around when King Henry VIII was around. That was really fun. And like the stairs are like that, and then the rooms are twisted, the floorboards all twisted.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's good. That looks nice. Thank you.
And to get onto the toilet, you had to step up 2 stairs, just because of how the room has dropped and stuff.
Thank you.